Shalom royalty, it's Ellie here. It's very confusing what's happening right now, because it's like on one end it's like you do have the Great Awakening, you have people understanding things, waking up to the truth, following the Bible, getting in touch with their spirituality and understanding, different things that are in nature and one with God. And on the other hand of that, you have the exact opposite, where it's people not only embracing but encouraging the opposite of righteousness. And it's very disheartening, especially for those of us who have young children, who have grandchildren, who have nieces and nephews that are very young. And by very young, I mean like adolescent or younger. My son just turned 4, and I'm like, I don't even know what type of life to prepare him for. Like, all I know how to do at this point is make sure he's taken care of financially and knowledge wise, because I can't control his spirituality. I can't force him to embrace being an Israelite. I can raise him in the truth, but I can't force him to believe in Christ. I can't force him to read the Bible. I can't force things on him. And so, there's only so much I can do, especially with his influences. My hair's at the top. I kind of like this look, but, and by his influences, the main one I mean is his father. So we have 2 subjects that I'm going to be talking about today. And I want to mention a third. I'll just touch on it. I won't go into detail on it because I don't have too many details. But these other 2 situations either have been building up, or I have seen multiple accounts of people talking about this topic, and I want to address it. And so in my personal life, my son's main male influence is his father. And he and I are getting divorced because we have a lot of problems. I know people have the best intentions when they say, I hope this is just a phase, and I hope you guys work out, or everything's going to be fine. You guys are going to stay together. No. We can't stay together. He is not a man of God, and it is expressed in his actions. Just, this isn't to bash him. This isn't to say anything negative about him. But, there's only so much you can do when you're going through like regular marital problems and you're going to marriage counseling. You introduce somebody to church. You read the Bible with somebody. You think you have a common understanding. You're getting more evenly yoked with somebody, and they continue doing the same things that are wrong and or get worse. There's only so much I can tell a person who suffers with infidelity and adultery. Hey, I don't mind you embracing a polygynous relationship. They are constantly denying having a polygynous relationship, but having a girlfriend in the midst of our divorce while still trying to be sexually active with me. I can't do anything about that. All I know to do is leave. And I'm not even the plaintiff. I'm the defendant in our divorce. He's the one who filed the initial paperwork. What do you do in a situation like that? You're from the beginning of our relationship, because he suffered with it for really before we got married. I didn't know the correct terminology at the time. I said open relationship. I said polyamory. I said polygamy. Letting him know and letting him be comfortable with the fact that I understand that he may want another woman. But even with that, continuing to lie instead and hide things behind my back and hide things behind his current girlfriend's back. Like, there's things that his girlfriend is, whether she's aware of it or not, it's from my understanding that she doesn't know that those things have been said or been happening. I have no desire to be with that man anymore because of this. I don't have an issue with him. I don't have an issue with her. But now it's to the point where now I can't even go around my in-laws without his girlfriend having an issue. And that's my son's family. So I'm not going to get too deep into that because we do now have new issues to deal with when it comes to that topic. But what is going on with our people right now when it comes to stuff like this? When we're talking about parenting, being a co-parent, when we're talking about having marriages, having relationships, having stability in our love lives. So you have, I'll address Brandon T. Jackson and Kevin Hart first. I didn't watch the movie Fatherhood. I heard it was good. I just don't get into movies and stuff, especially when they're really popular. I just wait until, stuff dies down first. Like in Coming to America 2, I didn't watch it as soon as it came out. I watched it a little while after. Only thing I really didn't like about that movie was when they said the crack house of God. I felt like that joke was a little distasteful. But like, I get it. It was a ghetto church, but coming from somebody who takes this walk seriously, I felt like that was disrespectful. But other than that, I didn't see a lot of the issues that people were talking about, because from my perspective, it seemed like the king's two baby mamas, basically his wife and his son's mother, were going to have a great relationship for the rest of their lives because they don't have any beef. They know that they fucked the same dude. They know that they had children by the same man. And so it is what it is. And they seemed like they were going to be cool. So, I didn't have an issue when it came to that part of the movie, but in Fatherhood, I didn't watch the entire movie. I just know that the biggest blow up right now is Brandon T. Jackson basically calling out Kevin Hart for participating in a Hollywood ritual. And if you don't know what a Hollywood ritual is, I don't know what your spirituality is all about, because this whole thing is about breaking out of the matrix and understanding how they've been playing all of us. And when you get into this space of learning and understanding, you know that Hollywood goes through rituals. I was like, I hate saying was, because this is something I want to continue doing in my life, just in a different direction than what the industry is saying. But I was a model in my younger years, and there were certain opportunities that I couldn't take or couldn't pull through because it was always, you have to have sex with somebody. You got to show your body a certain way. You got to do this for this man or do this for this woman. And that's on a small scale. I'm not even talking about the millions of dollars people like Kevin Hart and Brandon T. Jackson get paid. I'm, $1,200 for me, and you want me to sleep with somebody. And I just want to model. I just want to act. I just want to be me and share my talent, share my gifts, share, this figure for the fashion designers, for them to display their art. I don't want to play those games. I just, when I was younger, yes, I did just want to be famous, but now I want to make an influence on people's lives. I want to actually do something good for people, and I'm working on that. I've been doing that lately, and it feels really good, but I don't feel like I'm making as much of a difference as I really should be making. And this makes me want to cry, because it's like, it's our men doing this. Women get emotional about certain things, and so it's understandable why, women will say certain things and why women will do certain things. But now you have men displaying those same characteristics, and it's not to say that men can't be emotional, men can't express their feelings, but like, men being catty, men being petty, men doing things that are just distasteful, men we're supposed to respect, it breaks your heart. It really does. So Brandon pointed out the Hollywood ritual. He didn't even say this is a Hollywood ritual. He said 1, 2, 3 dresses, you're out, something like that. Like 3 strikes, you're out as far as wearing a dress in the Hollywood industry. And he said, Yah is upset with you. Because, I mean, the Most High doesn't want our men doing things like that. He doesn't want us, displaying any type of behavior that we're not supposed to be displaying. And so you have, Dwayne Wade doing, feminine things for his son, but that's not even his place. Even if we were to quote unquote accept the lifestyle that his son wants to live, that's not his father's place to do things like that. And so I understand the context of the movie Fatherhood, where, he was the main parental figure, but it's still not the father's place to do things like that. It just isn't. And so, Brandon expressed how this is affecting, our people, and that, he wished him the best. He didn't say anything bad to him. He didn't say anything bad about him. And the thing is, he was in his shoes before. So it's not like he's coming from a place of ignorance. That's the thing. When people come from a place of ignorance and they don't know what they're talking about, then I can understand, certain people's reactions. But like, people were getting on him because he did the same thing. Why do you think we haven't seen him in movies and stuff like that? It's not because he quote unquote fell off. It's because he felt uncomfortable doing what he was doing and had to reroute and go about things in a different way. And now that he's seen the light and he knows what is proper, he's trying to edify another man. And hey, sweetie, sit up. He's trying to sit up. He's trying to edify another man to do the right thing. And people are upset with him, not Kevin Hart. They're calling him homophobic. And I'm like, I don't see anywhere where this has anything to do with Kevin Hart saying that he wants to be gay. In his stand-up comedy, he said himself that he would want his son to not be gay because he wouldn't know how to handle that as a father. So how can you say that Brandon T. Jackson is portraying homophobic behaviors when this isn't Kevin Hart's coming out story? This isn't Kevin Hart saying that he wants to be transgender. This isn't Kevin Hart saying that he wants to embrace the LGBTQ lifestyle. This is him playing a role in a movie that Hollywood has constructed on purpose. They could have picked any other way to do this. He could have got, the daughter's auntie, could have got the daughter's, other motherly type of figure, her grandmother, a close friend, a church member, could have got somebody else to display what needed to be done instead of him doing it as a male. There's plenty of ways to do things. And I just don't understand why people are the way they are when it comes to this type of thing. Like, we've been seeing it for a long time. And it's especially our men. I know, what's his name? Harry Styles recently did the whole Hollywood ritual thing, but it's not even that big. I'm not going to say it's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal. But it's just different when those who are what we consider white do things versus what men who are black, when they do things. It's a different level. It's a different caliber. When you understand slavery and you understand buck breaking, then you get a better understanding of why this is a much bigger deal than just,
Hey, not your pink phone.
It's over there. Than just people being just upset about something. It's on my bed up here. Right here. And so with this Nick Cannon situation, and as far as the Kevin Hart, Brandon T. Jackson situation, I feel like that's going to be ongoing. And I thought Brandon T. Jackson was kind of young. I mean, he's young. I'm not saying he's old, but I didn't know he was 37 years old. I'm thinking he's in his early 30s. That man has every right to say what he needs to say about anything that he needs to say. He has some years on him, and he knows exactly what he's talking about, being in the industry for so long. And so, if anything else happens after that, I'll probably say something about it on this channel. I'm not sure yet. I know Brandon tweeted and said that he's basically gonna try to get back into the industry, but not in a way to continue doing effeminate behavior, in a way that he can still influence people, still be involved, and make a name for himself while displaying Christ-like behavior. So, I just think that we're going to get to a point where Israelites start doing things on their own, like Israelite entertainment companies and record labels and stuff like that. Because at this point, trying to change the industry from the inside out through their systems is not going to work. I don't have faith in that. I believe that we are at a point where we're going to be doing a lot of things on our own. But regardless, Nick Cannon. It's interesting that he has twins so easily. He hasn't said that he is a polygynous man, and he has not displayed polygynous behaviors by staying with the women he has children with. And it's a little concerning that he now has 7 children, or on the way to have 7 children, with a bunch of different women without being properly polygynous. Because from the public's understanding, it looks like he's creating a bunch of baby mamas. Mariah Carey is his ex-wife, so that's one thing. But then after that point, it was just like, okay, we don't know what you're doing. It's a little confusing, and it's concerning because not too long ago, it was either 1 or 2 years ago, he was talking about what people of the Hebraic faith understand about white people, and he was basically canceled. And so the thing is, he's not ignorant. He knows the truth. So I'm trying to understand why he's displaying the characteristics of a whoremonger rather than a husband. It doesn't matter how much a man makes. This is the whole reason why the high value man stuff just goes out the window. Nick Cannon very much qualifies as a high value man, according to the narrative on the internet. He has made well over 6 figures for the past 5 years. But what is this man doing for his family? It doesn't matter how much money he makes. What is the relationship like with the women he's having children with? What is the relationship with his children like? This isn't good, what's happening right now. This isn't new. I'm not saying it's new or anything that, that it's sad to say. This isn't anything out of the ordinary. It's just the fact that Nick Cannon knows better. And he does have lupus. That's his health condition, which is why he wears the turban head wraps thing. And people still don't know about that, and they make fun of him for it. And it's sad to see that too. I'm like, this dude has a whole medical condition, and y'all are clowning him for what he's doing for his health. I get it. He's doing something that seems kind of grimy, but don't make fun of somebody's health condition. I don't care. Call him what he is. If he's being a hoe, he's being a hoe. That's one thing. But don't clown on his health condition. Like, that's weird. But what's actually going on? Are we not supposed to be holding ourselves accountable when we come into the truth? It's been hard on my end for recent times, because it's like, I get it. When you get divorced, it does kind of mess you up, because I don't know exactly what happened in his and Mariah's relationship, but he was free and open to get into another marriage anyway. But it seemed like she left him. And so that could have kind of messed him up and made him, confused. And he probably didn't get the emotional healing that he needed from that separation. Not to excuse his behavior, but that's probably what could have happened. I know I'm definitely messed up. I'm not saying that, like, you know, it's going to prevent me from moving on in the future, but it is some things that confuses me about anything. Like, I tried to do everything I could do in my relationship to save my relationship, bringing pastors, bringing spiritual aid, bringing, you know, certain family members, like his parents, you know, not, you know, just spreading his business out there, like genuinely asking his parents, like, hey, what did you guys do in this situation? Why do you think he's making this decision? Can you help us, please? Like, you know, doing things like that, and things still not working out. People still not changing. People still not changing their behavior, becoming a better person, developing their character. You know, I understand and I have empathy on that end, but I can't condone or excuse this type of behavior because, you know, like, what exactly are you doing? Are you building a legacy? Are you building an empire? Because I don't even think I've seen all those women in the same room together. Having a proper polygynous relationship, your women need to be getting along. Your children need to know each other. You guys need to spend time together. Not you hopping from woman to woman, busting out a bunch of kids. I don't really understand, you know, like, what are we even supposed to, I mean, because it's like, what are we supposed to look up to now? Even men in the truth are doing things wrong. Like, I was watching Black Male Advice TV, aka Ringo. He did a live stream with this one dude who's supposed to be an elder. Like, dude looks like an old Kevin Samuels. Like, he's got a little bit more beard and a little bit more hair at the top, and it's all gray. He's supposed to be a Hebrew brother elder answering questions on a panel, and he was totally incorrect, like 100% incorrect in his answer. And he wasn't using biblical references to answer the question. He never answered the question. That's for one. And what he responded with wasn't even anything that had to do with the Most High. And, you know, when you pride yourself on being a Hebrew Israelite or an elder or whatever, which is why I don't even like to apply titles to myself. I know I'm a young woman. I know I have an apostolic calling because I have the gifts of what would be considered an apostle according to the Bible, but I don't want to call myself an apostle because I know I'm still a young woman and I'm going to make mistakes that apostles aren't really allowed to make. Like, when you get to a certain level, you're not allowed to make certain mistakes. I'm just saying. Like what Brandon T. Jackson was saying, Kevin Hart is in the penalty box, even though Kevin Hart isn't, you know, in the faith or anything. He still has certain responsibilities as a public figure and as a man, and so he's in the penalty box. Spiritual leaders get put in the penalty box, so I don't even like to call myself a spiritual leader. If you want to consider me a guide, cool, because you're going through the same thing as me, cool, but I'm not here to be anybody's covering of any sort, or, you know, I barely consider myself a teacher. I'm just sharing what I'm experiencing and learning and observing, and it makes me want to cry. Like, even with this young Pharaoh situation, you know, we just got out of the situation with Rashad Jamal. I haven't heard anything positive from young Pharaoh's standpoint on that. I saw the evidence of Rashad Jamal giving a public apology. And when Remedy H got involved, Remedy H even said, you know, everything's cool with him and Rashad. So, you know, those two made peace, but young Pharaoh isn't at peace with anything else going on. But now looking and seeing what's going on in his life, like, I knew something else was going on in his life for him to respond to that situation the way that he did. Now understanding that him, and from what I understand, his child's mother's name is Golden, it's just so sad. Like, they're splitting up, and not only are they splitting up, there was issues going back and forth on Instagram. I haven't looked too much into that, which is why I didn't want to touch on it too much, but I watched his video recently. He titled it a particular way, and I wish he didn't, because it seems like an instructional video, but he's really venting. He's actually venting and not giving too much. He is giving advice by being an example, but at the same time, the public has seen different. The public has seen different by seeing them two go back and forth on Instagram about their breakup. And so instead of titling it How to Exit a Relationship, he really should have said something, exiting my relationship, this is how I'm doing it. Something like that, instead of making it seem like this is going to be an instructional lecture when he's really just venting and explaining what he's going to do in his own life. I get it. He's setting an example by, doing the right thing, by taking care of his children, taking care of his children's mothers. But still, why, make it seem like this is something that's going to quote unquote help the general public when it's mostly your business in it? It's very different to make an instructional video and having your testimony in there somewhere sprinkled in. And it's another thing to be talking about your situation and sprinkling in information for people to learn from. And it's just so sad. Like, I don't know if it's this full moon energy going on, or if it's the fact that we just entered into Cancer season,
I love you.
or if it's, just, I don't know what it is, bro. I don't know what it is. I really be trying, man. I really be trying to, we really want to look up to people. We really want to have role models. The only role model we have is Christ, but even then, that's hard because Jesus wasn't married. Jesus didn't have children. And we don't emphasize the relationship of Mary and Joseph beyond, Mary had a baby by somebody else. And Joseph is a simp for taking care of the child. That's all we got. We do have other fathers and stuff in the Bible, but everybody was going through so much crap all the time. And here we are still going through so much crap all the time. This doesn't make my faith shaky or anything. There are people who are struggling in their faith because they're like, what's the point? Here's why there's a point. Despite everything that is going on, despite everything that has happened, despite everything that is going to happen, you still have to hold yourself accountable. Did you do everything in your power and your will to make sure that the best decisions were made from your standpoint? If the answer is yes, then that's all the Lord wants you to talk about. That's all he wants you to feel. That's all he wants you to understand. Pharaoh's heart was hardened when Moses asked for him to let the people go. He did the right thing. He addressed the king. He made a request, and he said no. Then that brought curses and plagues upon his land until he eventually said yes. And even then, he went back on his word, tried to take them back, and he got killed in the midst of that. Or his army got killed in the midst of that. So that's why the word says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So, just to wrap this up, going back to my situation, I can't control, my mom's calling me. You know what? I'll just go ahead and end the video. Shalom, royalty. I'll see you in the next one. Tawada.